Welcome to the Lost Lowdown podcast 173 with your hosts, Claude and Justin.
What's up, guys?
We are back, continuing our season 5 commentary series with episode 504, The Little Prince.
Oh,
He's so little and so Prince.
Prince, so Prince.
Season 5 is heating up here. You know, we're making our way, getting about a quarter through it with this episode. And I don't actually remember a lot about this. I obviously know it's about Aaron, but
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of the like on island stuff that happens at this point.
Yeah, it's hard to get a clue when they're totally disconnected like they are right now. It could be anything. I mean, it's presumably following what happened in Jughead. I think it ended with Charlotte in peril, so I presume that
The biggest
that'll come
cliffhanger
up.
of all time.
Yeah,
Charlotte
exactly.
gets a nosebleed.
Charlotte gets a nosebleed. Lost. Yeah. But yeah, I don't really remember anything specific that happens. I think I know what happens in the next one, and so I think that tells me what's going to happen at the end of this one. But I don't know if I want to spoil that right now. Maybe we can just get there. As far as the Aaron stuff, yeah, which I mean, the title kind of gives you a clue. I mean, they've already set some of that up with the lawyer, and we all know whose lawyer it is.
Oh no. Oh,
Will we get the
one-man
reveal in
goes
this
the
episode?
lawyer.
Is the big line going to come in this episode? I feel like it's possible.
I over acted.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, Ben. You're such a Linus.
But yeah, I don't actually like. I know there's a whole thing of the lawyer coming after Kate and trying to get custody of the baby and like putting pressure on and stuff. But like, I don't actually remember where the story goes specifically.
Yeah.
So I really don't know what to expect because I remember what the end point is, but I actually feel like we don't even get to the end point of the story until later in the season. So I actually have no idea where they're going to end it here. Are they going to have like his son going to come kill Ben? Is that going to happen in this one, or is that later?
I think that's later. I have no idea.
Or like is the dock scene going to happen? You know, the famous dock scene.
Yeah.
I remember that. Is that this
Wow.
episode? Like, yeah, it's really hard to tell. Something about season 5 is weird, like that way, where it's like it all kind of blends together more so
Yeah,
than
maybe
the other
it's
seasons.
because they're transitioning to the end and they have to cram a lot of things into here, and it's not as
Yeah,
straightforward as the other seasons in terms of what
yeah,
it's focusing
yeah.
on.
And the episodes are less focused,
Mm-hmm.
so there's more of a sense of, um, just about anything could be in the episode. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to like connect to any particular storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Because we might get a lot of scenes about Kate and Aaron, but we might also get like a random scene about Jack, or like I said, like Sun might reappear. Who knows?
Carlton and Damon now.
I hope they know.
Yeah, well, you want to jump into the episode?
I
'Cause
guess we have to. I don't know what
yeah,
else to
not
say.
much more to say. All right, short intro.
Yeah, I
Bound to
mean,
happen.
it's hard to talk about. It's something you don't really remember.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure as soon as it starts, I'll remember it.
Yeah, it'll start coming back. I don't remember this being my favorite episode. So.
I definitely remember this not being my favorite episode. It continues a tradition of the fourth episode not being good.
Yeah, there was something about that.
Yeah, like it's like some kind of weird pattern. where it's like the season starts off, it's really exciting, and then it just grinds to a halt
Mm-hmm.
for a while before it picks up again.
Yeah, season 2, Everybody Hates Hugo is number
Ooh,
4.
yeah.
Season 3 was Every Man for Himself.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean that one was
Sawyer.
okay, but
Yeah.
yeah, I put a heart in you or whatever he said.
And then
Shaking the bunny.
classically Eggtown from season 4.
Eggtown, yeah, that's
Yeah,
it's a
Eggton, please.
classic. Eggton, indeed.
Um, and yeah. So is it a Kate thing?
Yeah, it kind of seems like it. No
Yeah.
offense.
When Kate has an early episode, it's probably not that great.
Yeah, yeah. I guess in season one, it's Walkabout, but the one before that's a Kate episode,
Mm-hmm.
and in season 4 or 6, I don't actually. What is episode 4 in season 6? Uh,
It's the
the one
substitute.
before Lighthouse. Oh.
So number 3 is what Kate does.
Oh, that was substitute was like such a tricky thing to do. Yeah, and the one before that was a Kate one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was so annoying. Oh, I forgot about that. Like do a lock flash sideways paired up with Man in Black centric story.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was
Yeah. Ugh.
so irritating.
Yeah, that was awkward.
Like extra like if it wasn't enough of an insult already,
Mm-hmm.
let's like identify these characters that are not the same at all.
You're welcome.
The substitute. Oh god.
We'll get there.
I know. God, I really forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's been so long. Yeah, this. I mean, we talked about that earlier. At the deeper we get, like the less I'm gonna remember it because it's been so long.
So Lost ended in 2010, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, it's been about 8 years since
Yeah.
I've seen
it's the last time.
like season 6. I don't think I rewatched it.
I haven't. I definitely haven't rewatched season 6, and I haven't rewatched season 5 since before season 6. So
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
should have been 2010 for both, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't rewatched the other seasons since then either, but I had rewatched them more before that.
Yeah.
So I think that's the key. It's that repetition, burns it into your brain in a way that, probably discussing it helped too.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get to talk about, season 5 as much as we did, like,
Yeah.
season 2, because it just kept coming up. And we would
Mm-hmm.
go back to it. And we did retrospectives too.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's I don't know. It's interesting. It makes the last part of this commentary series like kind of weird. It's almost new at this point.
Yeah, it is. It's sort of seeing it, not remembering what's going to happen, but knowing what the end result is.
Yeah,
So you sort of half know.
exactly. Yeah. There's like limits. Like, oh, that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, how are they actually going to get there? How do they connect the dots? Like, yeah. Memory can be really bad.
It can be.
It can be just like very selective and very misleading.
Mm-hmm.
What your brain chooses to focus on or emphasize in your memory is like it's weird. The brain. Who understands it?
The last frontier, folks.
Yeah. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You thought it was space. No.
No. But then you thought it was the ocean. And that's
Mhm.
not it either. It's the brain.
The
Spoiler alert. All right, you want to jump into the episode?
Let's do it.
All right, everybody, get your players ready if you're going to sync up with this for some The Little Prince.
Yay.
All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Previously on Lost.
Mm-hmm. Is Dolta.
Dolta. What word is that?
Her name was what?
I know a Claire, but not a Claire.
An eclair. We're going in that tunnel where Choo Choo went.
Oh yeah, looks like sun's gonna come up.
Mm-hmm. Sun's coming up.
Sun's coming. Ooh, it's a pun. I like it. Sun pun.
House of the Rising Sun.
They did that one, didn't they?
They did do it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You got to die,
Joe. They cut that part out. He did say that though. Oh, they transitioned seamlessly. No, they didn't. This is still previously on.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was weird. It's weird to cut from Locke and Richard to Charlotte and Dan, as though that was connected somehow.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is this?
Is
this the episode?
Oh. I thought this was Desmond and Penny going to L.A.
Are we still previously awning? Did they just do another flashback?
I guess we're flashback.
Okay. This is kind of disorienting.
Oh, this is about Aaron and what they're going to do with the kid.
Oh, okay. That's why they're going back to this. They go back to this boat a few times. They did that in July, too.
It's like a new set.
Yeah. Like, they had all these conversations on the boat about what are we going to do about X. In this case, him. Sometimes the character just needs to say what the scene's about.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, right, I remember that was like some kind of weird justification.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to give him up for adoption, even though she changed her mind clearly.
And even though it was based on a fraud, potentially.
Exactly.
And, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to treat it as valid now. I wonder why not say...
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Why not say that Claire was pregnant and she just died after giving birth?
Yeah, I mean,
because I guess because then she doesn't get to keep Aaron.
Right.
It would go up for something. I don't know.
She would have to give it up to the baby. I mean, to the family, but is that so bad?
It's not.
Isn't that kind of where the baby should go?
Jack could also be like, well, this is my nephew.
Yeah, that's true. Although he doesn't know that yet.
He doesn't know yet.
Ooh.
I've never not been with you forever.
Oh my god, this is that line!
Yeah.
I forgot about this.
Especially when I was against you.
I know, it's that wishy-washy Kate thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, like, from this point forward, that gets a bit better.
Yeah. Look like a powerful businesswoman.
Oh, God.
That's not who I really am.
Can't open your own ketchup.
It's even child size.
I know. I get to eat candy from the mini bar? I guess they got that Oceanic 6 money.
Yeah.
Oh, son's babysitting. Okay.
Yeah, with enough time and money, you can buy anything in a mini bar. I'm son.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, indeed.
Is this the package?
Mm-hmm. This is when like she completely forgets that she's babysitting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's like a gun, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like she's like, I remember us on the original podcast with Son being the worst babysitter ever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like literally should be on the do not
Yeah.
while babysitting. Uh-oh. Black and white
Uh-oh.
photographs. You know that shit's incriminating.
Oh, they're at the funeral home.
Ooh. That does look bad.
Does
If we're
it
being
though?
fair. Yeah, Jack working with Ben?
Well, is he working with them? But they were at Locke's funeral. Oh, here's the gun. Yeah.
Locke's funeral?
Yeah, that was Locke's funeral.
Oh.
Well, Jeremy Bentham's funeral.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I guess,
So if you
yeah.
knew the context, I feel like it wouldn't be so bad.
How does she
But
know Ben's off the island? Okay, I've asked that like 10 times already. Alright. I mean, the photograph's proof enough, but she knew before that.
yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Do we
I,
learn?
we have to, I guess. I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay, back to the island.
Here we go. This is the stuff I want to see.
Water for Charlotte? Or is that just water for Miles?
It's for Miles. Oh, don't
Aw.
share your water.
Was it ether? Like, what is that? Is she gonna suck it from the claw?
I think he's wiping her mouth. And
Oh,
things.
okay. Don't use language like squat.
Mm-hmm. His old useless lock.
So true. You see, I had this mouse.
Mm-hmm. Why isn't everyone affected?
Yeah, that is a good question.
That's why I said like.
It's like that plus there's the question.
There it
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody had to ask.
Because Charlotte was born on the island. What about Miles? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. She's just special. She's got like a sensitive brain. I don't know.
Those scientist brains are sensitive.
Helped her work as an anthropologist.
No one would ever sit like this at a table, like diagonally like that. But it's a
No?
great shot.
Yeah. So I think that this is just a normal lawyer, right? Like Ben just hired a normal lawyer. It's not like an
I think
others
that's
lawyer
right.
or something. Like he doesn't actually know about the island or anything like that.
I think that's right.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting if that is true though is actually I don't think he could be a regular lawyer only because in order to have like court cases and this kind of stuff like that you have to have like standing, right? So like how can Ben say that, you know?
Yeah, what story did he tell?
Yeah, that's like I'm Aaron's dad or
Yeah,
something. You have to
yeah.
prove it or something.
Right. Did he claim that? Oh wow, this never bothered me before.
Yeah.
Ugh, now it's
that's
getting weird. That makes me think he is an others lawyer.
yeah, that make you think that too. Or he's just like paid. He's just a
Unethical.
yeah. He's just being paid to strong arm her.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Zodiac Raft.
No, of course not. Why would he?
Think I know what to do? Come on.
What if that makes it worse, Locke?
Are you sure? Eh.
It didn't happen because they left. It happened because he turned the wheel.
Yeah.
You can't. It will.
Oh. I'm gonna forget her in 3 years.
Yeah, won't remember her face.
Oh no. Is she gonna die now?
Yeah, she doesn't remember. I think she's like little kid Charlotte now or something.
Yeah, is it gonna be that, like, I can't have chocolate before dinner? Maybe it's
Mom
not
will
that
be
soon.
bad. Oh, she remembers them. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Ooh. What's the orchid? Does everybody
Exactly. Yeah.
know? I mean, yeah,
That was some strange marching music
it
for like
was.
a very bad plan. Jesus Christ.
Why so much horse tranquilizer?
Is Hurley still in jail?
Oh, it sounds like Saeed thinks that Ben sent the men.
Yeah, that's weird. I thought Ben sent Saeed to get Hurley.
I know, I know. That's very confusing. I think he did. I guess we'll get there when we get there because it's way later, but.
Oh, good. Better you than me. This works out.
Peace out. Wow.
Thanks. Goodbye. No room for you to have input in this conversation.
Yeah.
The Ben shows up. Wow.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, this.
I remember this.
Uh-huh. It says, kill the guy in the chair.
Uh-oh. It's a lot of horse tranquilizer.
Oh,
Apparently we didn't give you enough.
that was great. I love that moment.
It was a train gun again.
I'm Sir
What the
Saeed
fuck are they
Jalal,
doing? Why do they
motherfucker.
want to, like, tranquilize Saeed so badly? What are they gonna do?
They want to capture him.
What's the plan?
Who wants to capture him?
Tell me the plan! Here we go. Where's the answers?
He's not gonna
Answers.
say Widmore.
What's he gonna say? Is he gonna say anything? It's hard to talk when you're being choked to death.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, he gets an address.
address.
One more?
Is two enough? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see this address. That's my address.
Is that Kate? Yeah.
What? Kate didn't send that guy. Did she?
No, that's next on his list, I guess.
Okay. So that wasn't really an answer about who sent him.
No.
It was just saying like he was gonna go after
Here's
Kate
the next clue, yeah.
And now Ben is going after Kate, but not that way. Not trying to tranquilize her. So that makes me think it's not Ben.
Yeah, I don't think it's Ben.
Yeah.
It should be Widmore.
It's gotta be Widmore.
Widmore doesn't really care.
I know. I know. Ooh.
God, I wish people would just use their words and be like, someone just tried to kill Saeed.
Yeah, seriously. That's clearly what he wants.
That's Saeed's line. We'll talk about this later.
It is. It is. There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. The marina. That's what it is. All right, so I guess we will get that scene. I remember we go back to that a couple times.
Mm-hmm. Please.
Yeah. You think I have a plan?
Oh no!
Oh
Yes!
shit. Oh shit.
This is great. Oh, this is so good. You know what it is, Locke.
Yeah.
First of all, that's a very bright bathroom light.
I know. Yeah, we talked about that. It's not consistent with how they show it.
Yeah.
Though I think they got a little confused because it does look like it looked when they actually blew off the hatch door and he turned the light on. But when it just came through that little panel, it did not look like this.
Yeah.
It was not that fucking bright. But they wanted to see it from far away, so, you know.
It's like the World Trade Center like memorial.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I did not think this was going to be in this episode.
Do we get Aaron's birth in this episode?
Those are pretty closely connected. I'm assuming we do.
I do think it's this one, yeah. Oh, there it is.
Okay, finally. Oh, so Miles was the next one. So maybe it is an island thing. I still don't really know why that matters, but
yeah,
like they got a little of the something or other. It sounds like we're on the verge of what you just said.
I'll go by myself for no reason.
Yeah, because I'm the only one who was there watching it.
Yeah, whatever happened happened. Wow.
So weird. So weird.
He's like, Claire's having another baby.
Not again.
I don't know. I want to see. I'm sure I said this last time. I want to see the show where Sawyer from the future walks out and is like, "Hey, y'all,
yeah,
how's that baby going?"
I know. Yeah, that's where the whatever happened thing gets weird. But it would be great if he could somehow cut in.
He can though, because this is his present.
Yeah, theoretically, but I guess he didn't. I don't know. I don't know if that
He
makes any
didn't
sense.
before, but he could now.
I guess
but he
maybe
won't
he
because he
could.
didn't.
But yeah, this reminds me so much of that thing from Twin Peaks.
Which thing?
When Cooper's in the woods watching Lauren James.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like she looks over and like
That worked a lot
screams.
better though.
It did. Did.
There's Pregnancy Rock.
Pregnancy Rock. It's just a rock.
It's just memories. Don't matter.
Don't matter. See, I always think like when stuff like this happens, it's like I feel like you wouldn't really say that, but also they don't have anywhere to take the conversation.
Yeah.
So it's easier to just close it off like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you gotta say, I just watched Aaron's birth again.
Yeah, there's nothing in it for the audience really, other than the logic of how a conversation like that would go.
Yeah. Like, how do you not mention it? I don't know. That's just weird.
Someone say something.
Oh, right. He shaved his beard. Forgot about that.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, what's this? Like your face.
Can you just
Like not be here.
I had you come over to meet me so I could tell you to leave. Oh, I guess we're supposed to think it's Claire's mother?
Yeah, that's the setup.
Okay.
And I think it's this weird coincidence where she is actually using the same lawyer, but for a different thing.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh,
I think that's the twist. Because they're going to follow and they're going to think, oh, she's definitely the client.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going to be a coincidence.
Well, it's like Ben got the same lawyer on purpose to try to do that.
Then it wouldn't be
you
a
have to
coincidence.
sort of, say that, I think.
Right. Oh, is he going to say it now?
Yeah, because I think Locke is going to talk about what he knew with his version. There it is.
They never got to see themselves, I think. You know, it was
as
normal.
Usual. Misplaced meaning.
Of course.
Just a light.
We all needed that pain.
Where are you now, Locke? Nowhere.
I know. It didn't help. It really didn't help.
I feel like that was him not learning the lesson again.
Completely. Yeah. Ooh. Have you? That's weird. He doesn't even know? It's just a coincidence?
Wait, what are you asking?
Like, Miles doesn't know that he was born on the island?
Yeah, well, because his mom fled Dharma, and I don't think she ever said necessarily. I forgot. They talked a little bit about
I
that
guess it was when he was
later.
still a baby. So yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. They're gonna talk about that later.
Judging
Uh,
by the deterioration of this beer can, I'm gonna
so
say,
hold on. The camp's here. That means they're in the future right now.
yeah, I think they went to the future.
Okay. Oh, are we about to get Outrigger?
Or is this when everyone's at the caves? Oh no.
There we go. Yeah, it's the future. Even though we never really know where this came from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ajira's the
Jira.
big clue.
Here we go. This is it, guys.
Yeah.
I will, because you're my soulmate.
Oh man.
Let's steal this and hope they don't shoot at us
We're
later.
about to get another infamous moment. I had no
Yep.
idea that was in this episode.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot in this episode.
Yeah.
I really didn't remember.
Wow, this is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, they never made this
This is,
work.
yeah, this is like almost the most unexplained thing on Lost. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, because as many problems as the cabin had, like they did try to explain it.
yeah,
It just kind of failed. With
it
this
just
one,
didn't
it's
make sense.
just
But this just they never got a chance to make it work.
they didn't even bother. Oh, wow. He is going to talk about it. Are they going to start getting shot at? Is that what's going to ruin this?
What did you say?
I was just wondering if they're going to.
Oh, that was 2 months ago. I was
Yeah.
thinking like years
Okay.
ago.
Yeah, I was wondering if the shots are going to start.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the kind of thing where I want to like squint my eyes, but there are no answers.
Yeah, so like you could tell. I almost think it's supposed to be the same people.
What same people? Like they
These people.
themselves?
Yeah, almost.
How does that work?
I don't know.
Like they time traveled to the very recent past really briefly.
Yeah.
That would be
And
so
but
weird.
but they don't know that it's them that are shooting
Right.
it. No, I was just trying to think who has a rifle that they could be shooting. So
Yeah.
I guess it's just supposed to be random others.
I guess. I mean, the Ajira thing makes it seem like it should be connected with the Ajira people, or like Widmore's people, or something.
Yeah, but none
Because
of
like the
Ajira
others weren't
passengers-
doing nothing with Ajira.
Yeah, but the others shouldn't be able to build outriggers. I mean, the Ajira passengers shouldn't be able to build.
Oh yeah,
outriggers.
but I think they were there already.
Oh, they were just there.
Yeah. Because I think we see them later in the season, like just for going back and forth to the Hydra Island. Because I think I mean, the Ajira plane landed there. I think they did write the scene, and they just cut it out. And there was a promise that it was going to be revealed at some point, but I think that never happened.
Yeah.
We can ask. We can
Mhm.
ask about that when we get that Damon and Carlton interview. Uh-oh.
That never happens ever. Someone is at the door and they come in and you stay at the door. Never happens.
She has to stand there so they can see her. Come on.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
man.
you're right. That's really strange.
I have to look at this document now. In the doorway.
It does seem like they could have changed the angle, but I don't know. I guess, yeah. They want to make it too obvious how they're watching
Hmm.
them. Why was it again?
Oof, good question. Because they're protecting the people they left behind
Yeah.
from maybe Widmore, but not really him.
Yeah, is Widmore gonna come for Aaron? I feel like that's the least likely scenario.
Gotta have that baby.
Yeah, like of all the people who really I would think would be safe from Widmore. Because like Aaron doesn't know
No,
where he
no, no. It's the
was.
people they left behind on the island. They gotta protect. They gotta lie. It's the lie.
The lie.
The lie heard around the world. Come, please, drip all over my floor.
Yeah, he's really wet. That's.
I'm
No,
fine.
this
I'm
is...
used to being wet and clothes.
When I get out of the shower, I just put my clothes on. I don't even use a towel.
You see, there's this lie.
Oh no. I love these grand statements.
Mm-hmm.
Was it?
Who's Aaron?
Mm-hmm. The obvious question. Uh,
Shopping. I love the cut. Thanks for not telling us. We'll wait till Kate here can hear it.
We don't want to hear it twice.
So we have to get out of here because we're not in trouble with her.
Yeah, why is it an emergency? There's no problem at all. Oh, okay. That's what it was. Cut to?
Yeah, because basically you could say that the lawyer has something to do with the Oceanic Six, so it could be one of them.
Right.
Okay, please explain more.
That's
it?
That was it.
Safe from whom?
I had to make sure Hurley was safe. The end.
From Ben?
It requires no
From
further
Whitmore?
explanation.
Like, they make it clear that Ben didn't send him to protect Hurley.
That's true.
Wow. Oh, this guy.
Oh, is this a line?
This is it.
There we go. He's working on that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's another.
You think that's the indication?
Yeah, because they're always on first name basis with each other.
Right.
That's my lawyer.
Standard others lawyer.
Yeah, why wouldn't I have a lawyer? Leader of the island, also in legal disputes.
So the coincidence is that Claire's mom hired him.
Yeah.
Seemingly.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows how that worked out. Maybe the lawyer reached out to her.
Right.
Saying, hey, I can help you sue Oceanic.
Right.
It's weird that Ben doesn't know how them thinking that the Claire's mother was behind it didn't how much it pushed Kate into doing what Ben wanted to do without him even knowing. It seems like he should have set that up.
Yeah, that's true.
Not technically.
Yeah, not really.
But
Unless
the
you have
same-
like freakishly long arms.
I didn't because I don't love her. I love you, Juliet.
Yeah, I don't care who I look at any point in the future.
Oh God! You done looked at her, James. I'm
What?
gonna load myself up.
Yeah. Oh man.
What?
Oh. I
Okay,
get.
they're going by exposure to the island. So Charlotte spent the most time on there before she left. Then Miles.
Right. She
now
left when she
Juliet.
was like 5 or something. Miles was a baby. Really, I think Juliet should have been second because she's been there for years.
Yeah, good point.
But maybe if you go when you're an adult, it doesn't count as much. I don't know. Uh oh. Uh oh.
Uh-oh. Where's Shannon when you need her? Oh, this is crazy. This is not cool. Wow. I didn't think that was this episode.
Me either.
What are they saying, Justin? Translate.
Go.
Are they're talking about the body here?
Yeah.
One of their colleagues. Another French word. Oh no, no,
He's
no.
still breathing. Oh shit!
That's not the end of the episode?
Wow, that's surprisingly.
Wow.
Yeah. That's shocking enough for the end of the episode.
That's so shocking enough for the end of the episode. Now, I guess they haven't solidified what's really crazy, which is the time travel part of that.
That's true.
Why did he? Yeah, please, just get on the fucking same page.
That's my address.
Ooh, long story.
Oh god. I don't even know, honestly, but
Oh, please answer.
Whitmore?
Oh,
Oh, god damn it!
no, it's an elusive question.
It's like the most important points always get interrupted. Don't make that face.
It's like the Avengers team up nobody wanted.
Definitely.
Do something we don't want to do. Man, that sounds crazy. Oh, it's always been when you least expect him. And it's never him when you most expect him.
No, Jack, she's right. Sorry.
He's not your pancake.
Ooh. Wait, is that really it? That's all you got?
No, he's still talking, but
Okay.
oh, son.
Ooh. Yeah. I knew she had to show up at some point.
Uh huh. Oh yeah, worst babysitter ever.
Where are we, second fake mommy? Okay, we're going back to this.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna be Ben saving Grace. Is your husband's not dead, son? Oh man, this is crazy. Not Robert. No, he does know that.
Oh god. Oh
She's
god.
fat.
That's the reveal. No one expected that.
You know, they say it's over when the fat lady sings, so you know it's. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Don't ask hers. No, you're not.
Who?
Oh, jeez.
The
Oh,
only French
Jen.
person you've ever known.
Yeah,
Yikes.
that's the ending. It is the
Okay.
ending.
Okay. I guess, yeah, they wanted to solidify what was happening there.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, like, we were already clear
Wow.
from the earlier part.
I find the whole, like, thing where Saeed is running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Jack is running around like a chicken with his head cut off. And Kate is running around like a chicken with her head cut off. And they won't just talk to each other about what's happening and about who they're running from and
Right.
why. And it's so taxing.
Yeah.
When they're there, they're in the same place. They're in the car. Just explain who you're running from, away from, and why. Like, it's so weird.
They almost did it. It was like
They
they were gonna
almost
have,
did it.
and then the sound happened, and then Ben was there, and then it just fucking ruined everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. The communication is terrible, and I used to think, well, maybe they talk to each other off screen, but that's clearly not the case here.
Clearly not true. Yeah. Off screen, they just sit and wait until the cameras roll for the next one. Yeah, and it's the thing with Ben is weird. Like, Jack sounds crazy when he's like, Ben, no, he's here to help us.
Mm-hmm.
That he completely sounds like he has lost his mind.
Yeah, exactly.
From Kate's point of view, but Jack has lost it again. He's drinking.
Yeah.
But and this whole idea of like we've got to go back to protect the people we love. Like, huh? Like, I know I watched the episodes, but I don't understand how Jack is convinced of that. It's just because Ben said it, and that's it.
Right. Yeah.
And like, there's some marginal bad luck happening, I guess. Some marginal conflicts in their lives. And that's supposed to tell you like we weren't supposed to leave, like that's
right.
it.
Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot of misinformation because I mean, of course, right now they don't know shit. Like they don't know, anything about what happened. Like the only one who potentially knows something is Ben, because he talked to Locke at least.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like what happened on the island after they left.
Yeah.
but I don't even think Locke tells him a lot of the pertinent details.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but all that Locke even knew was that, you know, they were shifting through time, and slowly, like, they were experiencing these like nosebleeds,
Mm-hmm.
and the idea was that if it kept happening, they would die. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and what he doesn't know is that when he you know, when he fixed the donkey wheel, it fixed that problem.
That's the thing is that there's two causalities and they are conflating them into like one catalyst, and it's like no, it's not. This isn't happening because you guys left.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys would have stayed on the island and not gotten on the helicopter when Ben turned the donkey wheel,
Mm-hmm.
you guys would have just been time traveling too,
With everybody
and
else,
with
yeah.
everybody else, and you would have had the nosebleeds because the thing is off its
Yeah. And
axis,
Locke would have still had to fix the wheel to make that
Yeah,
not happen. Like, or
yeah.
somebody would have to.
hmm
So, because that was the problem. The problem was not that they left. Like,
I
that
mean,
whole
it's a
thing is
classic.
a.
It's a classic example of misplacing meaning and not understanding the cause and effect of something. Like, and it works on that level, but it's just so taxing to see characters be wrong, to be so motivated in a heightened way about the wrong thing.
Right, right.
Um, you
Yeah,
know.
and I can't get over the fact that it feels like the show wants me to buy into that
hmm
mission, and
hmm
not say like, well, they're just wrong. So should I even care if they go back or not? Like,
I
it
feel like
doesn't.
everybody's wrong about them needing to go back, and we don't have
Yeah.
Jacob as a real character on the show yet, so it's not like we can get it from his mouth that, oh, they need to come
Right.
back.
Right.
We know that, having seen the show, we know this is part of Man in Black's plan to get them back.
Right.
Um, so yeah, so it's just like, yeah, first of all, the reason Ben wants to go back is he wants to be judged. That's a selfish reason, but I
Right.
guess he also believes they need to come back.
Yeah, I guess so. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't
and then
really know why, but
everybody else, and it's almost like it's that thing that it's a conundrum when you have any deity, you're in terms of their actions that you're contemplating, right? Like, you know, um, like when if people say, very religious people might be like anti-vaccines or something, but
mhm.
then the question is, well, why would God let man invent vaccines if he didn't want them to use it?
Mhm.
So it's kind of like with Jacob, it's like, why would Jacob let them leave in a helicopter if
Mhm.
that's not what he wanted?
Right.
If he wanted them to stay, why didn't he just orchestrate the events for them to stay?
Right.
So now you as the believer are like, you won't really get towards the truth because you're like bringing in all these outside ideas about what the motivation of the deity is,
Right.
So now you're like, oh, some bad things happened on the island. First of all, bad things always happen on the island
Very
because
true.
the island is life and bad things happen in life. And, but it's like, okay, so bad things happen. That means we need to undo something that we did. But it's like,
Right.
no, maybe it'll be worse if you guys go back.
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And I guess like the other bad thing that happened was the massacre of the red shirts, which
Nobody cared about.
there, for A, no one cared about, including the audience, which is fine. But like B, they're not going to prevent that. That already happened. They're
Yeah.
all dead. If they go back, it's not going
Yeah.
to make them not dead.
hmm And when they say, we're lying to protect the ones we left on the island, they're not talking about the red shirts.
Oh hell no.
Yeah, they don't even
No
know.
one's ever talking about the red
No one's ever
shirts.
talking about the red
It doesn't seem like they even remembered that there were red
Mhm.
shirts at this
Mhm.
point.
Yeah,
Like they've just all moved on. Like it's just us, right? I mean, come on.
yeah. Yeah, so that's the part of this season that I'm not really liking is this shuffling of characters, and I'm protecting you from someone I won't name, and I'm protecting you.
It's so
I'm
weird that they don't
it's like,
name it.
I was like, I'm protecting him from you, but you're here helping us. But wait, I don't get
Right.
it. Who's the bad guy
Yeah,
then?
yeah, yeah.
And Charles Woodward the whole time is like, I'm just doing mergers and acquisitions. Like, I don't give a shit
Mm-hmm.
about what you guys are doing. Not yet. Not till Jacob comes and gets me later,
Right.
and strong arms me into caring about the island.
Yeah.
I feel like his last ditch effort was the whole freighter thing. He was like, "Listen, I'm gonna put millions of dollars into faking the oceanic crash to get people off the sin of the island, and I'm gonna send this freighter one last time to get Ben and to try to find this island. And if I don't get it, I'll just continue to be a rich billionaire.
Yeah. It's not so bad.
It's not so bad at all. All the McCutcheon I can drink."
Yeah. No, the only thing that he's really done this season so far is pursue getting revenge on Ben. You know? Which is, like, that's just a personal thing. Like, it is connected to what happened on the island, but it's not about finding the island again. It's not about getting the Oceanic Six back. He did give Desmond the address or whatever to find Eloise Hawking, but and I guess he also helped Locke to a certain extent. He gives him the Bentham identity, and he was that tapped in, I guess. Like, he knew to meet him there. There are definitely some unanswered questions about Widmore's involvement, but it does at the same time seem like he's just a cog in the wheel. Like, he's not necessarily pursuing it very actively himself.
That reminds me of the question about, I think there was a question about, how does Widmore know Ben's off the island?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Widmore has that camera in Tunisia, right? So he's watching the exit
point.
He
just saw it.
So I think he saw Ben come out of the exit point, I think.
Okay.
Is something there?
Right, I forgot about the camera. Yeah, okay. If he
when Son's like, you and I both know we're not the only ones who left the island.
Right.
I think that's what. Now I don't know how Son knows that he knows it from that.
Yeah, how does Son know he knows? Oh boy.
Yeah.
It starts to get weird.
It's getting complicated.
Again, how does Son know herself? How does Son know Widmore knows? How does it? Yeah, there's and Saeed's thing of like, I gotta protect Hurley from Ben. All right, come on, Ben, let's go get Hurley. It's like, it's kind of the worst.
Like, within the same breath.
I know. It's like, what the fuck? It does feel like there's a fast tracking going on that is not. It's making
it's inelegant.
Yeah, exactly. It's like forcing them to cut to certain moments and not really get there in any way that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I do wonder if I don't see how it could have actually helped, but again, I want to bring in the writer's strike and wonder if they had the full season 4. I don't know, like, maybe some of this stuff could have developed a little more or something. I don't know if they're in too much of a rush to get them back to the island.
Well, not to add to the list of people who know Ben left the island and shouldn't. How did Saeed know Ben left the island?
Oh, well, because he was working for him.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Forgot about that part.
Ben contacts him, so
yeah,
that's the. Like,
so
at Nadia's
goes,
funeral or something.
He goes and the whole economist thing, and he's working for Ben. He's killing Widmore's men around the world.
Yeah.
And then, what's the resolution of that? He realizes that Ben is using him or something.
I don't even know. He just quits.
Okay.
I think we're going to get an episode that focuses on the moment when he stops, I believe.
Okay.
And like, shows what he does afterwards, but then, like, Ben comes back, and I think Ben tells him to break Hurley out of the institution. I think that's what happens. Even though that seems to contradict a lot of the stuff he says.
Yeah, it's like, who's what?
I know. I feel like there's like henchmen robots or something that are just going after them, not knowing why.
Yeah.
Like, they're just programmed.
It's like great. Yeah, it's like there's a Star Trek Voyager episode about these autonomous androids that were built for war.
Yeah.
And there's like 2 different versions fighting each other, and you find out that the masters who created them died centuries ago. And so they're just fighting a war just because that's their programming, and not that it actually matters.
That sounds like we're looking
Well,
at
and
here.
it's just like Dharma, right? It's like
Yeah.
the Dharma people who didn't get the memo that
The
the
new man in charge
organization
thing.
is defunct. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
and they're just sending
we'll
drones
just keep doing our jobs until
Yeah.
someone tells us not to.
until the checks stop clearing. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. It's very and even in the hatch, you know, Kelvin and Desmond, just keep pushing the button. Just don't worry about it.
I mean, it's a very powerful sort of, encapsulation of a facet of life. You know, that idea of you just continue along on a path until, you're jarred out of it. You know, so you can kind of live your life that way, and look up and it's been 30 years, and you're like, oh wait, I wasn't in control of this situation.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
it's interesting in that respect. But storytelling wise, it's frustrating.
It is, and I feel like there's a way. I feel like there's a way to write this where it makes some kind of sense, but like characters can still misinterpret things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like a less frustrating way they can still hit the themes they want, but like we can at least kind of have an understanding of where the characters are coming from. But it does seem like they don't even know what they're worried about sometimes.
It's like they think they have an idea, but if you press them, they would like not be able to explain.
It would just fall apart. Yeah, like Jack's urgency was so strange. Like, oh, actually, no, she's fine. It's not a problem at all. We gotta hurry. We gotta get out of here.
We
like,
gotta get the fuck out of here now. She knows nothing. We're in way worse trouble now that she knows nothing.
Like, why? Like, that's not normal, Jack. What's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, there's a noise outside. I can't talk right now.
So, okay, I just for fun, okay, I was just like, I have a pen and paper. I'm like, okay, so
is the pen gonna help?
Okay, so Sayid. All right, Sayid is protecting Hurley.
Yes.
From question mark, right? Like we don't know.
From Ben. And
well, but it's not Ben. It's not Ben, though,
right? Well, he said Ben. I know he took Ben to Hurley then, but yeah, from question mark. From Widmore. Does he care about Widmore? I don't even know.
I mean, didn't he kill all of Widmore's guys? I mean, if he thought there was more, and it's like it's weird to be like, oh Ben, I'm not gonna kill for you anymore, but I'll kill on my own time.
Yeah, the same people,
Hurley.
Seemingly.
And okay, and so, but what's Sayid's mission? Like
Not
what
clear.
is his plan? His plan is to protect Hurley, but to do what?
Yeah.
From his plan isn't to get Hurley to the island, right? Because Sayid's not on that page yet.
Definitely
about
not.
like we need to go. Okay, so it's not like, oh, I need to get Hurley and protect him because we need to go back to the island. So that's not his idea.
No.
So he's protecting Hurley from someone, and the only possible suspects are Widmore or Ben, and protecting him for question mark, just to protect him.
Yeah, because they're friends or something. I don't think.
And
there's
no one else
reason.
needs protecting.
I don't know why it's just Hurley.
Kate doesn't need protecting. Son doesn't need protecting.
Apparently not. I don't really understand why he's fixated on Hurley. I believe Ben sent him to protect Hurley, so it seems like it's a mission for Ben. But even though, like I said, that contradicts some of the things he says.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like they eventually tell us that Ben put it in his head to go protect Hurley. And it does seem like it would be consistent because of what he was doing for Ben before, that he would be protecting Hurley from Widmore. You know, like that was supposedly like the reason why he was killing all the people for Ben was to protect the Oceanic Six. You know?
Yep.
It goes back to that whole, like, we gotta protect them, and it's also, we gotta protect the people who we left behind. It's kind of a mess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it doesn't seem like he's it doesn't seem like he fully remembers what the point was or fully understands why he's doing what he's doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like he's going along for the ride, and he doesn't want to go back to the island. What's the plan then? Take Hurley to a safe house and just stay there forever? Like, give him a new identity?
Mm-hmm.
Take him out of the country? I don't know, but why are you hanging out with Ben and, like it's not clear why any of that helps, except that it puts them in one place for the plot.
Is this like connecting back to the lie, this half idea that they need to protect the people from Widmore?
Right.
And so Sayid is continuing the sort of conflict from the freighter people in Widmore, and this idea that they wanted to kill everyone, and so like that Sayid's thinking that mission's still ongoing, so he's got to protect Hurley from that idea. Like,
yeah.
This is way too complicated.
I do wonder what are we supposed to think about the random like henchmen that show up? Like, are they?
Mm-hmm.
So they have consistently shown them with tranquilizer darts.
Yeah.
So what's the plan? Okay, let's say the mission succeeds and he actually hits Sayid with the tranquilizer darts, like they did at the apartment, except that he took them out.
Mm-hmm.
Then what? They take Sayid to Widmore.
And then Widmore says like, how do I get to the island? I mean,
and it's I don't fucking know. Why are you asking me? Ask your ex-wife.
Exactly. Yeah, when you go pay her alimony payment, like, why don't you go ask her where the island is?
She knows way more about that than I do. Yeah, seriously. Does he care? Is he gonna like try to force them to go back to the island? It doesn't seem like
I don't think he's on that page. No.
So then what is the point? Like, it's...
Well, and what's interesting is, they were dodging the henchmen, and then, Sayid's in the emergency room with Jack, and the henchman shows up. So it's someone who's able to track them.
Yeah. Someone
who's able to know that he's there. And I don't think from... Now, Hurley... Let's see. Hurley... Wait, how did it happen? Hurley sent Jack to get Sayid? What?
Hurley sent his dad with Sayid to Jack.
Okay, so Hurley knows that Sayid is going to be in Jack's custody. So
yeah.
But would Hurley tell anybody? I mean, how would anyone find out that that's where Sayid is?
Ooh. Oh shit! I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I feel like because that should clue us into who's ordering the henchmen.
Yeah, it's interesting that they tracked Sayid to the hospital, but at the same time he had Kate's address, like home address, in his pocket, and she's left there. Like, they explicitly showed her packing and leaving. He didn't say, like, yeah, I don't know. You would think, like, there would be...
So whoever is monitoring her house didn't notice that she was sort of leaving to not come back.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it just seems like they're a bit limited in one way. Of course, it's partially just communication of what the point is. But I don't even get what the point is. They trank Sayid, and then they trank Kate, and now what? I can't really get to step 2. Take us to the islands. Like, okay. I mean...
Yeah, I don't... Now, the other theory could be that, and I don't really buy this, but just for consistency or completion's sake, I guess you could say that Ben is the one behind these henchmen, and he's using it just like he used the lawyer against Kate, like he's making them feel threatened.
Right.
To where they can't just stay in LA and they can't just stay put, because it makes it seem like somebody's after them, but it's really just Ben who's doing this.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. He does have Kate's home address. That's where
Very
the lawyer
true.
shows up.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the other thing that it could be. So we think it's supposed to be Widmore, which doesn't really make sense, but it's actually really Ben.
Yeah.
And he's playing it's all he's all hands on deck, sort of like every trick in his book, and from every angle. He's going to befriend some people to get them to come back. He's going to secretly threaten some people with the lawyer, secretly threaten people through the henchmen. Maybe that's the idea.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that mostly makes sense. I think, when he sends Saeed to get Hurley, like, he kills one of them, and presumably Ben didn't intend that to happen. Maybe, maybe he didn't sort of realize that would happen or something. But...
No, wait, what? What'd you say?
The guy outside of Hurley's mental institution that Saeed kills.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Ben sent him there. I keep saying this. I hope they're going to reveal that later in the season. So,
Ben sent that guy to watch Hurley, to keep an eye on him.
And Saeed to break Hurley out.
Yeah. But Ben knows that. I mean, Ben's lawyer just told him that guy got killed. Right? Because Ben's lawyer was like, yeah, they can't, the guy who was killed before Hurley escaped, so they're not going to pin it on him so Hurley can get out of jail.
Oh, he was talking about that guy.
Yeah, he was talking about that guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
that's why he was saying the judge will let him go because there's no evidence that Hurley did anything wrong or something like that.
Okay.
So Ben does know at that point that his henchman was killed.
Right.
If that was his.
And maybe he's just okay with that as, like, a sacrifice to sell the,
Sure.
Yeah. So I am fine with that. I think if that's true, the only thing I wish is that they just said that on the show at some point.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been nice. Like, yeah, because, like, in this like, something more in line with what they showed in this episode where Kate's like, oh, Ben, you're the one who's doing it. You're the one who sent the lawyer and stuff. And Jack's like, no. And he's like, yeah. Ben's like, yeah, it was me. Whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's when Saeed should be like, and the henchmen, those were yours too.
Yeah. It could have been a moment. Because really, like, the henchmen aren't going to matter really soon.
Yeah.
And so it's like, why not tell us that? Because it would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So... And yet there's still this, like, we gotta protect them mentality going on. But, like, it does seem like Ben could step in, especially once they're on board and be like, yeah, okay, but, we have to go back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a bad guy, but, we still gotta go back, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, hey, whatever. Tactics. You do what you gotta do.
YOLO!
I do feel like that makes the most sense in a way. Because I just don't see what Widmore's doing if those are Widmore's people.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the other hand, it's like, why not tell us if they're Ben's people?
The other thing is interesting is the use of the tranquilizer instead of, like, actual bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, it's this weird thing where, because it's the show, they're not going to actually kill these people.
Right.
But it seems like they could have made the threat seem bigger by seeming like they wanted to actually just kill them.
Yeah, like a gun with a silencer and real bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why, like, the tranquilizer makes it like they're like, oh, it's a lot of tranquilizer. Like, okay, fine, but clearly they're not intending to kill him, and so then it just raises the question of what they're trying to do. In a way, if they were trying to kill him, it would be easier.
Yeah.
He's trying to erase evidence or something. He knows they know about the island, and he doesn't want anybody else to be able to get back there. You could come up with something like that, and it would
he
work.
thinks they're going to crack at some point and tell the truth, and people will look for the island and the survivors. Yeah.
Exactly. But then it's like, I don't know, like, he's going to kidnap them and hold them somewhere and question them, or like,
or maybe he's gonna use them as leverage to find the island again,
right.
Or to get Ben or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he thinks that they care about Ben or
right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's also something they could have told us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it goes back to my frustration about the Saeed origin story. You know, who killed Nadia?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they never really answer that question, and it's very frustrating because it's like, did Widmore send someone to kill Nadia, or did Widmore send someone who accidentally killed Nadia,
Mm-hmm.
or was it some random guy who hit Nadia by accident?
Yes.
Who happened to work for Whitmore? Or did Ben send someone to kill Nadia to manipulate Saeed?
Mm-hmm. All the above.
I don't know. Or did Jacob intervene somehow to try to motivate Saeed to come back?
Mm-hmm.
He's there when it happens.
Yeah.
You know, it's just weird because that's a pivotal moment for Saeed's character. I mean, basically, Saeed's entire arc for this part of the show depends on that one event.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre to me that they don't tell us. But I guess, like, going back to the island is pivotal, too, and they're not explaining that either.
No.
So
Well, they're at least giving us. Well, they're giving us a cover story at least of why they need to go back.
Right, right. Yeah, that's true. There's a thing they say, even if it doesn't really hold up to scrutiny.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like maybe they can at this point believe that, but I do wish, I don't know, I wish there was a little more reflection of like, oh, we didn't actually need to go back to protect anyone.
Well, and on the front side of that, I wish there was more obvious peril. I wish they had some concrete proof that, oh God, everyone on the island died.
Yeah.
We have to go save them, or
Yeah.
there's some huge crisis that but it seems like it's just this idea of we got to go back, and then everyone just gets on board without really thinking through why. Like, what about them going back is going to solve anything?
Right.
You know?
Right. And I think that's part of why they had to build up motivations for the characters. Like, so, like, Sun is going to go back to get Jen,
Mm-hmm.
and Kate's going to go back to get Claire.
Yeah, it was never to protect them.
No.
Because if it was, they wouldn't have had to have these individual motivations.
Right, right, right. And part of that is, they learn that, well, at least Sun learns that Jen's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ben's gonna tell her, like, pretty soon, like, once she comes out, and
Is about to kill him.
is about to kill him. Yeah, exactly. And that ends up being like the whole reason she goes back. But then it's like, I don't necessarily need to protect him. I'm just trying to get reunited. It's not the same mission.
Yeah.
And like, so Saeed is forced. He's just like literally arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Hurley is told by Jacob to do it.
Yeah.
And it's only Jack who really comes up with a kind of almost a personal / impersonal reason for doing it. Like something that isn't specifically connected to like a mission, helping someone in particular, an obvious objective. Like it's this weird, like, emotional thing that makes him go back. I'm broken and the island will fix me somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what they end up saying. Like he's the only one that comes up with this like kind of obscure motivation.
Physician, heal thyself.
But not one of them eventually comes up with we got to go back to protect the people.
Mm-hmm.
Or to save them.
Yeah.
Because that's not what happens. But at this point in the story, that's what they're saying. And there's never a point where they sort of realize they were wrong.
No, they just move on to the other explanation.
Exactly. Yeah, like seamlessly. And that just, I don't know. Yeah, that just feels kind of frustrating and sloppy and like, yeah, I don't know. I wish it held up better. I wish there was a little bit more of a through line. And I do agree, like, urgency would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do they have to go back now? Why is it urgent? Tell me. Explain.
Yeah, because
Like, at this point, Locke's already turned the wheel. They've already lived in Dharma in the 70s for 3 years. And, like, sure, like, maybe being stuck in the 70s is, like, not ideal. But they're not going to die imminently.
mm-hmm.
You know? They got to worry about the purge. Okay. But, you know, they at least have the advantage of knowing it's coming.
Yeah.
And they could try to make a contingency plan and maybe even, you know, they can, like, get on a sub and get off the island before that happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It just doesn't seem like it's really that bad. And yet, you know, the whole idea of we weren't supposed to leave, we have to go back, you know, shouldn't that matter?
It should matter, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, God, I'm complaining about Nadia. Like, that thing's, like, way bigger than Nadia. You know,
Yeah,
it's
sure.
like fundamental to what the show's about, and it's sort of, and it's okay that, you know, they don't give us like a definitive answer about it, but I do feel like there's also the problem of, like, it doesn't even seem like they have a reason right now. And they're just kind of going through the motions until they find their reason.
It's like a placeholder until they have a good reason to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas it should have built up more organically, you know? But I guess it would have been hard for them all to, like, separately come to individual realizations of why they want to go back, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's more like, no, we'll all, like, get on the path to going back, and then we'll figure out why we want to go back.
Well, it would also be nice if everyone who left had a bad experience off the island. It would be, you know, that would help. Because I feel like there's two things that need proving or some evidence, which one is, you know, we got to go back because the island never wanted us to leave.
Yeah.
And then two, we have to go back to protect people. Somehow. And I feel like, yeah, those two things, I wish somehow it would have been clear, like, okay, yeah, we left the island. Jack got depressed, right, and suicidal or whatever he was. Not really suicidal, but, you know, he was trying to get back to the island because he was broken or whatever. Kate seemed to be doing pretty much fine until the Ben's lawyer showed up.
Right.
Sun's doing pretty much fine, except she's, you know, preoccupied with trying to kill Ben. Who else do we got? Saeed is not doing that well, but he's preoccupied with protecting / killing people. Who am I missing? Jack, Kate, Saeed, Sun.
Hurley.
Oh, Hurley.
Did you get Hurley? Okay, yeah.
Hurley was sort of doing okay.
Hurley had the ghost telling him he had to go back, which I think was
that's
Hurley's
right.
main problem.
That's right. He did have yeah.
Oh, I forgot. That was like reason number 6. Like, the ghosts say you have to go back.
The ghosts say it, which is part of reason number 1. Like, the island didn't want you to leave or whatever. But yeah, the ghosts are telling you XYZ. Yeah.
Quote unquote ghosts. It's not totally clear what those things are, but the fact that they're so insistent about going back and you know, the Christian Shepherd thing doesn't look like ghosts to me.
Yeah.
That looks like, and I do feel like part of the story is like they're just falling into the Man in Black's trap. Even though at the same time Jacob does want them to come back because they're candidates and they have to be on the island to replace him.
Yeah, the best trap is the trap you know, walk into yourself because that's where you want to be.
right. Exactly. Yeah, it's that weird thing they do sometimes where, like, they did this kind of at the end of season 4, and like they do it later, you know, at the end of season 6 of like, we'll just both go to the cave and we both want to go down there and we'll just see who's right.
Yeah, it's always the worst. It never feels good.
Yeah, there is something like anti-dramatic, I feel like, about having
Mm-hmm.
a protagonist and an antagonist just like agree that they want the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just feels like that's violating the way stories are supposed to work.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's convenient in certain ways,
Yeah.
because it avoids certain issues. Like if Jacob doesn't want them to come back, like it starts to get a bit weird.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
But yeah, the ghost stuff and like even some of this stuff that got passed along about the body, John Locke's body,
Mm-hmm.
and the shoes and like recreating the crash. It seems like that's falling into the Man in Black's plan. Like it seems
Yeah.
like Jacob shouldn't care necessarily about Locke's body going back to the island. Like why would that matter to him?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he like the dead people are not going to be replacing him.
Jacob didn't care when Locke's real body was on the island. I mean, jeez.
It's true. It's true. So yeah, it's kind of a mix up. It's very very mixed up
Yeah.
of like all of these different characters and what do they want? What do they want? Like some of them you can kind of answer that. Some of them it's not even clear what they want. And then the other level is um you know, what are they um what are they trying to do? What's the point of the actions that they're taking?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's really hard when you don't know what someone wants exactly to explain their actions.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all over the place.
And I remember when we were originally podcasting. Once again, I feel like this has got to be a running gag at this point. I really want to go back and listen to the podcast from this era because
Mm-hmm.
I do have some vague memories of especially you like harping on this point,
Mm.
and I really remember wanting to give them the benefit of the doubt that you know this will all make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like it makes sense now, but if we just wait it out, like, they'll explain things and it'll kind of come together. We don't know enough information to judge, completely what's going on here. Because, like, the henchman thing is played like a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the mystery just doesn't go anywhere. So now that we know what happens in the show after that, I realized that your concerns were completely valid, and it bothers me a lot more than it did when it was originally going on, and like the possibility was always there that
Mm-hmm.
somehow like someone could come in, new information could be learned, and it could all kind of tie together.
Yeah. Well, the famous saying, the best trick the devil ever pulled was convincing us Lost would eventually make sense. So,
That is true. That is the game of the show as a whole. But I,
mm-hmm.
I do think I don't know. We're gonna have to revisit it as we go through and we get to the other parts of the story. I know there are some problematic elements coming up in the rest of the season as well as season 6. But I do feel like this part of the show might be like one of the sloppiest.
Mm-hmm.
This transition.
I think I agree with that. I can't think of another part of the show that was this all over the place and seemingly unfocused, and that early stuff in season 3 was lackluster, but it was still
Mm-hmm.
focused on what it
Yeah.
was about and what they were trying to accomplish, and everyone had specific goals and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like coming off of season 4 and them leaving some things in the air with the freighter people.
The freighter
and,
was a little sloppy along these lines.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's what we're dealing with is like the lingering issues with season 4.
Yeah.
And now we're trying to transition into the season 5 issues, and which is really the end game stuff and
Right.
setting up for the end. And yeah, it just seems like they're having to do too much too fast, and
Right.
it's not giving the time for the characters to really have a chance to have their actions sort of be clear and sensible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe they underestimated how many episodes they needed
Mm-hmm.
to carry out the plan. And by the time they got here, they realized, well, if we're going to get to all this other story, we really have to blow through this, figuring out like why they have to go back and how they're going to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, it does feel like that could have, in a way, that could have been a whole season by itself. It feels like theoretically there could have been enough story there.
I'm thinking, like, why are there even henchmen after them? Like why even write that? You know,
Yeah,
like, just take them out of the equation. Isn't the story the same?
you're
Like,
right though. I do feel like it's a holdover from season 4. The
mm-hmm.
Saeed like killing all the people. I mean, that was a dangling thing that was never really properly justified.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's kind of carried over to this, where they just have these lingering henchmen that have like gone past their like point of existence. And really, why did they even exist in the first place? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was a questionable plot line to begin with.
Yes.
And I don't know. Like they felt like they had to transition out of it somehow, and like not just. But I don't know. It's not very. It's not a very elegant transition.
Mm-mm. Yeah, and then in one way you could maybe look at it as like the arrows, fire arrows killing off the red shirts. Is this like, okay, these are the last of Widmore's henchmen. These are
Right.
the last guys he has, and now we'll just have Saeed, clean up and take care of them, and then we're done with henchmen forever.
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 That's a good point. I didn't really think about it that way. It would be great though. Like, I don't know. Like Mr. Widmore, you're.
Yeah.
Your
They
last...
show him a report. It's the henchman report, and there's
Yeah.
like a big zero circle, like you have 0 left.
Oh bloody hell! You've beaten me again, Linus.
Mm-hmm. Except where it counts financially.
That is true.
Yeah, jeez.
Oh, you have one lawyer. That's cute.
That's the other thing I think the show never really did a good job. We talked about this before, convincing us that Widmore actually cared to get back to the island.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like it was like a nice to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if I can get the island again, that'd be great. But if not, I would be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, like that auction in the Constant where he's getting the, it was like the manifest from the Black Rock or something.
It was like, the diary of the captain or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, right, diary. Yeah, yeah. It was like I think he won it if I remember right, but I feel like it's also like, if he doesn't get it, I mean, how big of a deal is it?
Yeah. It's the thing that they should have done for Widmore. I think that would have been nice. Is like he's dying. He's got cancer. The one place he can get cured is the island. He's got to go back. He's got to go back. He's got to find it out for some important reason. And they never gave him a super important reason, Not like, I can reconcile with Penny if I can get to the island. Or I can, I can cure cancer in the world and become a billionaire because of it if I can get back to the island. Or, it was nothing like that. He was just so nonchalant about so many things. Oh, Penny's not in my life anymore. Oh, well, as long as she's safe somewhere, I'll be fine with never being in her life again. The island, the freighter is destroyed and I can't find the island and Ben's on the lam. Oh, well, buy and sell some more stocks. Right.
Right.
That's Widmore. And it's
Yeah.
just he's just not the like mega villain I think the show really wanted him to be.
Yeah. You're
Or at
right.
least the way it seemed like that they wanted. Maybe they were like, oh yeah, everyone's only as bad as their motivations are or whatever, and no one's
Mm-hmm.
really evil or whatever, kind of moral equivocation or
Mm-hmm.
something. But
Which they do with the Man in Black to a certain
what's to
extent as
do with the Man in
well.
Black? Yeah, exactly.
And who's like, I think still a better villain than Widmore.
For sure.
Um, yeah, now that as you're saying that, I'm realizing that yeah, in a sense, like the problems with season 4 with the freighter, the problems now with the henchmen, like in a way, you can trace all of that back to Widmore.
Mm-hmm.
And Widmore doesn't get any better in season 6. In fact,
Nope.
he might even be worse.
Yeah, I think he's worse.
Which is pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
He finally shows up on the island, and you think like, all right, now we're gonna get down to business with Widmore, and like
Mm-hmm.
it's more like equivocation and like
Yeah.
he's gonna destroy the world, or maybe I'll just negotiate a little. Like, it's like
Yeah, I
the
don't know.
fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it doesn't. Oh
And he
my
has like a
god.
forced change of heart.
Yeah.
Like there's no like realization for real on his part.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not clear what's at stake for him personally either. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it's bad. You're right. It's bad. They really should have because the Man in Black story, as frustrating as it is, there is a nice simplicity to it that
Mm-hmm.
he, was trapped on the island through no fault of his own, and I mean originally,
Yeah.
and he wants to get off, and
Yeah.
Jacob won't let him off, and that's the problem. Conflict, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. And
Yeah.
okay, like sure, you can quibble with certain elements of that, but like Widmore's story does not boil down like that to
Mm-hmm.
anything you can really grasp. Like he was on the island, and then he went off the island for a while, and then he came back, but then they ejected him because he did that. But then he was mad that they did that, so
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to kill.
So he wants to
Ben
get back to the island
because of yeah, they never got
Mhm.
there. They
Mhm.
never got there. It's like because he was there before and he was mad. I don't know.
Like does
It's
he want to get back to the island or does he just want to find Ben?
right, and those are conflated
Yeah.
because it's like the reason why he sent the freighter seemingly was primarily to get Ben. That was their stated
Yeah.
mission.
Yeah, if Ben wasn't on the island at that point, I don't think the freighter would have gone there.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And so that's yeah,
And if Widmore wanted to get back to the island, he would have been on the freighter himself.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, why wasn't he? Well, because it's going to blow up.
Well, but he can get off before then.
Very true. Very true.
I
No,
think
no, no.
he could
That doesn't
afford a
excuse
second boat.
the story logic. Like,
Yeah.
he really should be there. He should fucking want to step foot on the island again. Like, he
Mhm.
found it after 20 years.
Yep.
And he doesn't even bother to go. Like, yeah, it's bad. It's
It's
bad.
bad. Yeah.
And yet he's supposed to be a central figure in all this, and he's got these henchmen, this international conspiracy, like
Which completely fails under the marksmanship of one Saeed Jarrah.
That's so true. He took it down like all by himself, literally.
They're all golfing, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna pop a cap in your ass."
Yeah, yeah. What?
Oh man.
Oh, we didn't think of that.
I didn't think someone would be after my henchman. What? That's possible? Oh, jeez. Yeah, no, Widmore's, I think he's like Desmond. Like, the more you think about his
Yeah,
character, the worse he
the worse
becomes.
it gets. Definitely, definitely. And at least with Desmond, even if it's frustrating, his motivation is Penny, and you get that.
He's real consistent.
Yeah, which like I know that's part of why it sucks, but also at least it's a thing. At least it's something you can focus on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, well, at least I understand, even if I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, yeah, Widmore, you can't even do that. It's like, does he care about Penny? Yeah, kind of, but not too much.
No, yeah, a little bit. Penny who now? Oh, okay. And don't forget Dan. I mean, Dan's his son.
Right.
He doesn't give a shit about him.
Right. No, he doesn't even mention. It's yeah.
I mean,
What the fuck?
he sends his son on like a one-way trip or whatever on
Yeah.
the freighter, and he's just like, oh well, I didn't get Ben, I didn't get the
Yeah.
island, I don't have my son. Like,
Yeah.
oh well.
Oh well.
Yeah, when Desmond shows up in the last episode to talk to him, there was
It-
no like, did you see someone named Dan? Is he alive?
Well,
Like,
doesn't he mention Faraday? He's asking about Faraday's mother.
oh,
I
you're
feel
right.
like
That's
he
right.
even knows,
That's right. Oh man, I forgot that was the whole conversation.
and he doesn't
Uh,
acknowledge it.
Yeah, yeah. Faraday, is he alive? Like,
Yeah.
something. Care about something, Whitmore. Damn it.
Yeah, it's not clear that he cares. I mean, he cared enough to write down an address, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
See you later, Des. Like, this is your problem now. And in fact, sending Desmond there puts Penny in harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
If those henchmen are really his, he knows that Ben is in L.A. You know, so it actually seems like
Yeah.
it seems kind of foolish to send Desmond, who he knows is with Penny, there.
Well, he told
know?
Desmond to keep her out of it.
How
so
about he
that's
did?
enough?
Oh, does that count? How about you tell me the fucking message and I'll tell her?
Mm-hmm.
Don't bring Penny there.
Yep. Yep. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's the Widmore thing is really a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Of the last 3 seasons.
Yeah. Of the time it's been on the show.
Yeah, yeah. There is other stuff that doesn't work, but Widmore is like an essential element of putting the threads together. You know,
Mhm.
that turns it into a story. Like if you take Widmore out, there's a lot of steps in the story that don't work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, what is he doing there?
No one knows.
And it's a huge problem. Definitely they should have told us, even if it was something simple like I got cancer, I gotta save Penny, I gotta save Dan, I gotta something.
And that right, like shouldn't his like, maybe he has a terminal illness or something, but shouldn't it have been like, before he dies, he wants to make amends to his children that he neglected and used or whatever, you know, like, shouldn't that be a thing?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to make sure that Dan and Penny are all right before I die. Like,
Yes.
you know, my one last hope at redemption. Yet, he doesn't give a shit. And then he just waits for Jacob to show up and try to make him do something quote unquote good.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or not, it's a different question. But
Right.
like, yeah, it just seems like he just was not going to change. It's like they just threw too many disparate character traits into the Widmore character. Him being this like leader of the island, you know, when they're the hostiles and everything.
Yeah.
To like him being this international business magnate.
Yeah.
Like, it's just too much, and there's no central through line to how that character has an arc.
Yeah. It's true. And part of it is that we get introduced to him as the billionaire, and then they tell us that he was in the others, and it doesn't quite develop organically. It's kind of like they're just piling shit on top.
That's it. Yeah, they're just piling it on, and that's what's weird is there is a parallel with Ben, right? Like, you have Widmore being the leader of the others, seemingly doing what he's supposed to do as the leader of the others, yet he's having these dalliances off the island. So then he starts to not do what he's supposed to do as the leader of the others.
Right.
Then he ends up leaving, you know, getting kicked off and then being a businessman. And that's not unlike what Ben did, you know?
True.
Ben decided at a certain point he needed to leave the island for various reasons. He's setting up this off-island others network, you know, and doing all kinds of things there. So it's a very similar parallel to Widmore.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I think no one just wants to lead the others.
Right.
Like, it's just not a fun job.
No. It doesn't
Like, it's
look
not
like
enough
it.
work to be your only mission. Like, you got to
Yeah.
do something else at a certain point.
Right.
And Ben was obsessed with the fertility stuff for the
Right.
longest time. That was his
Right.
big, his big obsession.
Yeah.
And before it was his whole back surgery. I guess Ben's back is fine, huh? I feel
Yeah.
like Jack should check in at a certain point.
It's over.
He should like check in and be like, oh, just FYI, everything goes with your back,
Nah.
No follow-up appointment.
Yeah, there's no need to talk about the back anymore. It's just cured forever.
It's just like it's like it never happened.
It really is like it never happened. Because in a way, it was a contrivance for those Cage episodes. But your point is good that all the stuff that happened in the Cage episodes. I mean, there was a clear motivation for the characters, clear conflict set up there. It worked on a basic story level, even if like it didn't necessarily contribute much to the larger story.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've obviously moved on. The fertility stuff is the same way. It's like, that was the season 3 thing, and once season 3 was over, it was just like, no one cares about that anymore. And I guess they try to tell us that was just Ben's problem.
The others themselves had moved on.
Yeah.
And he was still fixated with it because of his mommy issues. And
Something
that's how
like
she
that.
died.
Exactly. Yeah, and they're just like, oh, we're fine. We just die when we get pregnant. I mean, whatever.
Just don't get pregnant.
Yeah, there you go.
Or have the baby off island.
Have the baby off the island. The like solution that no one could like. Just...
Well, because Ben didn't want people leaving, right?
Right. But I don't know why that was such a big
deal. Control, I guess.
I guess
so. Maybe.
I guess so.
But yeah, I mean, the others are just a group of people who have signed up to protect something. They have no idea what it is.
Right.
They have no idea what they're protecting or why, especially the off-island others. Like, they're not, like, getting regular updates on things. Yeah. They don't understand the current conflicts. But they're just, like, there for Ben to do his bidding whenever he shows up. Like, it's such a strange organization,
Yeah, like this. I remember wondering about this back when the show was on because it seemed more significant. Like now, I realize the others are like a little bit. I mean, they're just kind of full of shit about a lot of things. So like, it's not that bad now. But anyway, I mean, Ben officially sort of resigned as leader of the others. When he was on the island, he handed it over to Locke. Locke goes... I mean, Locke disappeared right after, and maybe there's some rule if the leader disappears that it goes back to the previous leader or something. Anyway, I always wondered... I mean, maybe there's just no communication, but, like, Ben is officially not the leader of the others anymore. So it's a bit strange. It struck me as a bit strange that the off-island others just kind of follow him seemingly unquestioningly, And maybe it's just a matter that they didn't get the memo.
They didn't get the update, yeah. And he's not going to tell them because it's not good for him to be like, well, I need all this, but I'm not the leader anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that.
Yeah, like in a way, he's fooling them all.
Yeah.
And like as soon as they can reestablish contact with the island, they should be like, yeah, he hasn't been the leader for years. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, that's the scene I want to see. All of those off-island others finally getting the update. It's been like, yeah, Ben. I hope you do whatever you do. Don't take direction from Benjamin Linus. And they're just like, uh-oh.
Right.
Uh-oh. I should have opened
whatever
this email sooner. Whatever he says,
do the opposite.
Yeah,
oh, exactly. Shit, I just remembered. Saeed said that, like, a couple episodes ago, and now he's riding in a van with him.
Now he's riding in a van with him, and we'll talk about this later.
Saeed, god damn it. Oh, whatever, it's dirty linen. No, it's more than that. It's not just about the past. It's about what's happening now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Dirty linen.
Dirty linen. That's like so dismissive. Like, it's no, dismissive. It's not just that. It's not just like, oh, I got this grudge about this one thing you did like 2 years ago. Like, no.
Yeah, no, I just told Hurley yesterday not to listen to you.
Fucking A! Oh my god.
Yeah, I took some tranq darts in the chest because I was trying to protect Hurley. I think from you, Ben.
Okay, and let's not forget that because I just remembered it that his what he's going to do is he's going to go back to the island, go back to the 70s, and try to kill Ben as a child.
Oops.
Yeah. So how does this middle part work? Like,
wait, why does he do that?
To stop Ben from causing all the harm that he causes.
Oh, that's gonna stop it now. Well.
Yeah.
That's gonna convince. Oh my! Ben didn't bring them to the island.
Yeah.
I mean, not the first time.
Not the first time.
He did.
Exactly.
Oh man. Oh, Sayid. Whatever happened. But you can still change it.
He's gonna change it. Yeah. So like the fact that the Grudge returns with a vengeance, literally.
First of all, that's a great movie title. The Grudge returns: with a vengeance.
Like it shows that there's really a gap going on right now. From the first part where he's like, never trust anything Ben says, never listen to anything Ben says, to like, okay, Ben, what are we doing now?
Yeah, tell me what to do.
Back to like, oh, it's Ben as a child, let's kill him. Like, what the fuck?
I think, yeah.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
Excuse me. Sorry, something got stuck in my throat.
Oops. Oh, no problem.
Drop my water. Excuse me while I take a drink.
Please. Don't.
I'm gonna die here real quick.
Don't die. Yeah, you don't want to die.
What was I gonna say? Sayid. I forgot what I was gonna say. What were you saying about Sayid? He's gonna go kill Ben.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, this period right now is like Sayid just temporarily forgets his main mission. I mean, why not shoot Ben right now? You know? I mean, if he's willing to kill Ben as a child in, like, a few days from now, like,
because shooting him now won't change the past.
It won't change the past, that's true. It has more power, but still, though, it's sort of like he's going along with him to a certain extent, and he doesn't actively try to stop him from doing what he's doing. So,
well, at this point, he's convinced. I don't know why, but I guess he's going to be convinced that they have to go back. Now, I think Sayid's not on the. They have to go back. Like he doesn't even know that's the plan yet, right?
I think you're right. Yeah, I think he's just learning it right now.
Yeah,
and sure he might just say peace out and not do it, which I think he does because he has to be forced on the thing. Yeah. Which is like fair enough, but it's weird how he even got to that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, this was gonna say. I think Sayid's whole character goes downhill like after season 3.
Oh, big time.
I think he never really recovers from that season 4 stuff and like off island stuff, and he's never the same person. He's just never the old Sayid after that.
No, they decided to take him down a dark path. They decided to, instead of making him redeemed for being a torturer, they decided to have him do more bad stuff and sort of have him go so far as to be infected by evil, quote unquote, and to be like virtually irredeemable. I mean, to the point where if he gets redemption, that means he's gonna die. You know, like that's the point they took him to. And yeah, I think that is like pretty disappointing. I wish he could have had a better role to play than that. And even if they went down the claiming route, I wish they had given him something more interesting to do, even with that storyline.
Yeah.
Instead of just like sitting around like a zombie until Desmond's like, "Hey, brother, remember Nadia or Shannon or whatever?
Whoever it is that'll motivate you to do the next part of the story." Yeah, I wish the claiming was real. I wish Man in Black knew he had that ability, but it was, maybe limited. I'm sure they didn't want it to be too expansive of a power because it's like, well,
Right.
why not just create an army of
Command them
people?
all, yeah.
But, maybe it's one at a time or something, or you
Mm-hmm.
have to be in a dark place, or you have to
Right.
be near death to be
Yeah.
infected or something. And
Yeah.
I wish, yeah, I
I think
wish
there's
that would have been
something
a
to
thing.
that, based on what happens with the French team. It does seem like
There's
they're.
something there, but it's just never clear
Yeah,
really
well,
what's going on there.
can't
Uh,
argue with that.
yeah, I wish Saeed said. And, the thing about him being a torturer, I thought they did a good job of making that understandable. He wasn't necessarily a torturer because he was an evil person. He was a soldier
Right.
given, a mission and duties,
Yeah.
and he had to sort of follow orders.
Right.
And that is why he had such a conflict, is because, yeah, he was sort of believing in what his government was doing, what the military was doing, but he saw it causing conflict when he obviously had to, like, kill Nadia or whatever.
Right.
Um, and that's sort of his initial conflict of reconciling those two things. What my government is doing be good if it could lead to this bad thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So it seems like he could have gotten off on the, like, okay, he's a bad guy, we have to punish him for his past deeds or something. I feel like he's not really in that category. Where when
Yeah.
you look at, like, Ben, I mean, yeah, Ben lost Alex. I guess that's a big deal. Um, I mean, I would say he cares only because when he comes back to the island, he wants to be judged.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like it's really, if they don't do a good job of making it seem like it's weighing on him in the interim time.
Not at all.
Um, you
No.
know, so that's kind of a thing. But yeah, Ben gets, I feel like, a better ending than Saeed.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's weird, and it's weird to have the characters be subtly different, well, really wildly different, but in, like, these subtle ways, and to not be clear why. Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah. I part of me thinks that with the place that the storyline goes, that they, in a way, like, I could see this problem already in season 4 of maybe there's like one too many action heroes on deck,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe like part of the problem with Saeed is like how to give him something vital to do when it all kind of gets whittled down towards the end, and like that's
Mm-hmm.
why they kind of just killed him basically before,
They put him in a holding cell for a bit, then the well,
yeah.
and then they just kill him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's sort of like it's sort of like in season 4, I feel like you can already see this problem creeping in, where maybe even the end of season 3 to an extent, but anyway, where like he has this fight with Kimi that was pretty entertaining. I'm not complaining about it, but totally ineffectual. Kimi is not really. He's
Mm-hmm.
not killed. He's not stopped. It's really just it kind of kills time
Yeah.
before the real thing with Kimi can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just sort of like it gave Saeed something to do, but in a way it was busy work.
I mean, the
You
same
know?
thing with Smokey's attacking Kimi's team too. It's
Yeah.
just another hurdle in the storyline.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so just it seems like for the end game, as far as Saeed goes, like they didn't have. Yeah, and at the end of season 5, um, because he tries to kill Ben. Ben's father shoots him, and so Saeed is mostly sitting it out at the end of season 5 as well. Like he's just sitting there because he's shot.
Mm-hmm.
And they still have to deal with that in season 6, and that leads to his quote unquote death, and pivots into all that. And then they use the submarine moment to give him something to do as an action hero, but also die so that we don't have to give you another thing to do later.
Mm-hmm.
They already got Desmond in there needlessly. And you know,
Yeah, it is a bit. It's too many action heroes. Yeah, you got Jack trying to save the day, and Desmond trying to save
yeah,
the day, and then Saeed's around, and yeah.
yeah, and they gave Kate a moment, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, even Hurley gets a moment, and it's like, yeah, it just seems like his function, like the things that he's good at, are things that they didn't need anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and so otherwise they would have to elevate his role. You know, they would have to make him a bigger character in terms of the
Well, they
storyline.
needed to give him something. They needed to give him a goal, and I think that's the big thing. Is Saeed doesn't have a really good goal,
Right, his goal was
but
always Nadia, and like that's over now.
yeah, there's no on island goal for him.
Yeah.
There's a general, in this point of the story, yeah, protect some people,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no goal. There's no like
No,
I
that's
need
why
to
he had
get
to be
back down.
forced.
That's why he has to be forced. That's why when he gets to the island, he's got to be claimed. Like he doesn't even
Yeah.
have like his own agency as a character is taken away because
Yeah.
that's how little of a goal he has. Like we're
Yeah.
just gonna, mind control you into doing these actions because you have no motivation to do these
Right.
otherwise.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, Sawyer is kind of an action hero too. Like
Oh yeah.
he gets to go over and help with the plane, and it's like, yeah, you can't. There's just it's too many cooks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel like you can already see that happening even earlier, you know, in the show, like where you know he'll get these little action beats, but they don't necessarily matter that much,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I think it worked better when it was kind of a bigger group show and he could like contribute to a group effort or something, but it really gets whittled down towards the end.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's too bad. I wish they had, you know, yeah, I would have preferred that they elevate him rather than Desmond, for example.
Yep.
I think that would have been more enjoyable.
Man, that'd have been
Desmond,
great if Saeed was like, "Hey, I want to move the cork so I can go find Nadia."
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, they could have done something along those lines. And I think I could have even believed it more because he didn't already have what he wanted, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like Desmond did.
I wanted more, brother.
You know, you could even keep in the tragic part, you know, but, you know, have him pivot to something, have a reason to go back and
Yeah.
try to accomplish that goal.
Yep.
It would have been more satisfying. I agree. Saeed is a big disappointment for this whole part of the show
Mm-hmm.
because he started out as like one of the best characters, one of the most fun characters to watch. He would really get things done. He had a really logical,
Yep.
you know, approach to things. He would ask the questions the audience wanted to hear, even if he didn't get the answers.
He would talk about it later, but he would bring up the question.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah. No, it's sad.
Yeah, I think they dropped the ball on a lot of characters by the end of the show. Maybe most characters.
Yeah, that is kind of true. Yeah, Sun and Jin don't do so great either.
Oh, Sun and Jin just completely. Glad you guys are reunited and die.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sun hit her apex already.
Yep.
She's like
Her-
on her way downhill right now.
Yeah, her confronting Widmore in the street was like the
Yeah.
top of her game.
Exactly. Yeah, and Jin gets some interesting stuff with Rousseau, but in a way, it's not even about Jin.
No.
It's interesting because of the connections with Rousseau.
Yep.
And you know his storyline that he gets, you know, just boils down to like, let's find Sun,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, like that's it. That's all they have, and then they get reunited, and then they die. The end. I
Yeah,
mean,
aren't
at
you
least they
happy?
have a goal, but it's not super interesting,
Yeah.
and it just gets very tedious.
Yeah, it's tough by the end. There's a lot of people who like want these like very tenuous things and yeah, when you don't have these strong motivations, then it's really hard for the characters to really pop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like they struggled to find reasons for characters to want things in the later part of the show.
You mean the main aspect of storytelling?
Yes, I do.
Okay, just checking there.
Yeah, in a way, it almost seems like it should be like Jack and Ben going back alone.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
they're the ones I
too.
buy the most.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of it's like, feels a bit more contrived.
Yeah. Well, but Jack, Jack has a strong reason to go back, but it's predicated on a weak idea that we just, for some reason, I got to go back. The island's not done with me yet.
Yeah, they don't fill it in properly.
My
I
life
agree.
isn't that great right now.
Yeah, that part kind of works. I mean,
Mhm.
they illustrated Jack's like downward spiral much more thoroughly than any other characters,
Mm-hmm.
and so you can kind of see why. He had already reached a point where he was like hoping a plane would crash on an island.
Well, now I'm confused about that timeline. So,
Oh no! Don't bring this up.
I know. I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh no! It's bad.
So-
It's bad. No, don't do it.
Don't pull that thread.
I'm afraid. It's not gonna hold up. Anyway, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm trying to piece together the sequence of events when does Jack thinks he has to go back? Now, obviously, there's at Locke's funeral when Ben tells him we got to go back, we got to bring him too,
It was right before that.
because he tells Kate, "Hey, Kate, we got to go back."
Yeah, because
So
like,
he came to that conclusion himself based on his life
Yes.
not being that great.
exactly. Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
but why did he start flying to try to find the island?
I was worried you were gonna ask.
Yeah.
So-
I don't get that yet.
Yeah, so I think the timeline just doesn't work, but I believe. Let me think. Oh shit! No, it's not even that good. Fuck. So I was gonna say it's when he reads the obituary, but it's not even true because I believe he reads the obituary on a plane. So I think he actually was already getting on the planes, hoping they would crash before he even read about the obituary. So I think it's when Locke visits.
Oh.
I think maybe it's Locke's visit. That
Oh,
pushes him over
Locke
the edge.
sets up there. Okay, so Jack is working at as a doctor.
Yeah.
He's things are, but it's has it been that 3-year period yet?
Yeah. Because
It's
once,
been that.
3 years have passed.
So he's been doing pretty well. He's working as a doctor. Kate's raising Aaron.
Yeah,
And then Locke visits, and it all goes downhill because Locke
Yeah.
plants this idea that we got to go back.
exactly.
And then Locke dies, but he's already on a plane, so you're right. It's a little weird. Because it's
Yeah.
almost like he's like, oh, we got to go back. I don't really think that's true, but then I'm going to
Then I get on a plane and then
schedule a plane flight and then go.
yeah, it
And
seems
then,
like it should have
you
been the
know-
obituary that did it.
But even that would have been weird, right? It's like, okay, Locke said I had to go back. Now Locke's dead.
That validates his opinion.
Why, though?
I don't know. Yeah, there's no reason why it should, but at least that would be kind of a pivot point because
I
it
agree
is
with
really
that,
weird
yeah.
to be like, no, Locke, you're stupid. I don't have to go back. Excuse me, I have a flight to catch.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I think
Now, what they could have done, which they didn't do, is to be like, Jack didn't believe Locke, and he wanted to prove that, despite Locke's death seeming to be, a case for validation, he wants to prove that they don't need to go back. So he's going to get on a plane every weekend and fly over the
Mhm.
Pacific. And when it doesn't crash, that proves that he's
Mhm.
not supposed to go back to the island. Now
Yeah.
that's not what they wrote, of course.
no,
but
but yeah,
that could have been a thing. And then he slowly drives himself crazy,
right.
with this trying to prove Locke wrong /
Yeah.
seeing what's going to happen.
yeah.
But yeah.
I think that works a little better.
Yeah, I think so too. Because what they have now is like he just thinks he needs to go back, and it's not clear why.
Right. And I have to throw in, even though like I think they've forgotten about it by this point, but I have to throw in that part of his pivot to the downward spiral was also the visit to Hurley and the visit from Christian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like the way they portrayed it in that episode, it actually made it seem like that was the catalyst, you know. But I think later they tell us it was Locke.
So yeah, it seems like okay, he saw his dad and he's like, "Oh, I'm not done with the island."
Yeah. And now Locke does say, Christian told me to say hello to my son, and so that does seem like it connects with that part of the motivation, even though he never really references it later as being an essential part of why he wanted to go back.
Mm-hmm.
But it is in the show, so whether he said it later or not, they put it in there. They kind of overwrote Jack's problems, I think.
Yeah.
Because he had more screen time. And I think also the flash forward structure, like the way it was told out of sequence, like means that in a way when you put it back together, it doesn't quite work. Because it was almost like the Widmore stuff where they just kept piling things on.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to the end and you try to unravel it, it's like, so how did that all happen again? Because I don't think there's a clear moment where he says, "Oh, I got to go back to the island."
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at Wikipedia, Lostpedia, trying to piece together the timeline here, and this is saying, so this is considering it 2006. 2005 is when the Oceanic 6 is rescued. So 2006, they're saying Jack began drinking regularly, and I'm like, but why?
Already?
I know, yeah. So then they say, he learned that the police had arrested Hurley. Then he visits Hurley at the Institute. Then that's when Hurley says, we got to go back. So I forgot about that. Hurley also says we got to go back.
Yeah.
And so this is the beginning of the end.
So that was only a year in?
That was only a year in.
What the fuck did he do for 2 years? Oh my god. Okay.
And then so the end of 2006 is the Eggtown stuff with the trial.
Okay. Right.
And then 2007, Jack and Kate, Kate's raising a baby, their romantic relationship is rekindled, he moved into Kate's house.
That's in 2007?
Okay. This is according to Lostpedia, 2007, okay. and then we get the working late. While working late, Jack saw his father.
Yeah.
And then there's that thing with Kate fulfilling Sawyer's secret promise.
Right.
But at this point, Jack was already on edge. I remember this scene. Like, Jack was pretty on edge at this point. I guess he's been drinking for a year.
Although they played it like he just started.
They did kind of play it like that. But I thought when Jack showed up to talk to Hurley, he seemed pretty frazzled too. And that's when they're saying he began drinking regularly. So I'm not sure where they're getting that idea from in 2006.
Yeah.
I guess it's in the beginning of the end somewhere.
Yeah, I do remember that when he sees the thing on TV, he's having like mimosa, or is that what you call it? Screwdriver, yeah. Orange juice and vodka.
Yeah, screwdriver.
Yeah. He's mimosa champagne, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but it's like it's the morning. He's got his suit on, So it is like he's drinking already, which is pretty bad. I guess he was doing like maintenance drinking. Doing like a Christian type thing where he's still working and functioning, but
yeah, it hasn't become a problem yet. But
it isn't clear that there was a catalyst for that.
Well, and that's what I was just going to say is it seems like what I would suggest is the catalyst is the lie, the guilt of having left people behind is they don't really, I don't think they crystallize that, but I feel like that's an idea is, he has spent a year lying about all this stuff and he's transitioning into, trying to raise Aaron and all that. So I could kind of see that weighing on him. So I'm trying to get to the point where he's like, we got to go back. So at this point, Hurley has said we got to go back. That's the first person.
Yeah.
and then he sees his dad. So that's number two. Like the island's not done with you.
Yeah.
Um, and then let's see. Oh, and then I guess timeline wise, it would be it's Locke comes to visit. They're
Oh,
putting
okay.
Locke's visit next.
Okay.
Apparently, Locke repeatedly visit Jack. I didn't remember that.
Repeatedly.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not. Yeah, repeatedly visited Jack under the alias Jeremy Bentham, and when he landed on,
Repeatedly? Okay.
yeah, I don't remember, maybe twice.
Okay.
Um, when he
Right.
landed on Jack's operating table after an accident, Locke said Christian told him to move the island.
Mm-hmm.
Jack succumbed to depression and substance abuse, and his hospital suspended him. He began flying across the Pacific every weekend, hoping it would
Okay.
crash. Okay, so it's the
Locke.
rule of threes basically. It was
Yeah.
Hurley seeing his dad, and now Locke saying it.
Yeah.
And so, but this is before Locke's death.
True.
So he is, like we said before. So I guess he's depressed. He's heard 3 times, we got to go back to the island. But instead of like trying to corral everyone to come back
Mhm.
with him, he's like, I'll just go myself.
Yeah.
And I could see a sort of martyrdom in that, like I'm gonna sacrifice,
Right.
or whatever. But he doesn't understand the circumstances of like, is that good enough for the island?
Right.
Like, or do they really need everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, he began flying across the Pacific every weekend, hoping it would crash, returning him to the island or killing him. Okay, so he's suicidal, so he'll take either one.
Right. Yeah, they
Uh,
did show him try to jump in front of a car.
yeah, this says when he heard Locke had killed himself, Jack tried calling Kate, then almost leaped off a bridge.
Oh, that's when he does it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But why, Jack? Why are you so depressed? It's like I get the flow of events here. I'm just not quite sure where the depression is coming from, unless it's just like an internal. He knows it to be true, and it's he knows we got to go back, but can't really articulate why or something.
Right.
And
Right.
that's the cause of the depression because he doesn't want to, but he feels like he has to.
I mean, maybe this is just like Jack's stubbornness or something, but there is something really frustrating about the fact that Locke tells him he needs to go back, and he's like, "No, we don't, whatever," and then immediately turns around and acts like he thinks he needs to go back.
Yeah.
It's like, if you believed him, how about you say that instead?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Locke wouldn't have ended up dead the way he did.
Yeah, he secretly was like, "Oh, I believe you, Locke," sort of secretly, but then he didn't tell Locke. He didn't tell anyone like this is what he was doing because Locke would have loved to know that Jack believed him.
Exactly. Yeah, and in a way, it would make more sense to me if he then learned of Locke's death, and that sort of sent him. I mean, I guess they do say he tries to kill himself after that, so it is like a key event. But
Mm-hmm.
also, like, once Locke's dead, it's really a short time before before he's like engaged with Ben and just actively trying to go back.
Yeah.
So in a way, it seems like Locke's death like helps or like push him into the thing that he already wanted to do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But just wouldn't admit to Locke. Like, is it just like this petty thing with Locke? Like when I left, you said I shouldn't leave, and I left anyway, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'm denying that you're moving the island, and I'm denying that you have to go back, and even if I think it's all true, I'm just gonna say no because
I think Jax is the kind of person who says no first and thinks about it later, and he has to come to his own decision about it. He resists being motivated by other people's catalysts for these ideas. Like he's like, no, I don't want to do that, but then later
Right.
he'll think about it and go, oh, well, that's the right thing to do.
Right. I think Jacob says something almost literally what you just said in season 6 when they go to the lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he's talking to Hurley, and he basically says that like some people you can just tell them do this and they'll go do it, but some people are like Jack.
Yeah, and Hurley's like, enough said. Yeah. Yeah, wow.
You have to like let them figure it out themselves, I guess, by
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Now, okay, so we're sure that when we see Jack looking at the obituary on the plane, that's the first time he's seeing it.
Pretty sure.
Okay,
Pretty
it's not
sure.
like he had a copy and he took it with him.
I think we're supposed to believe that's the first time he saw it. I don't
Okay, I think you're
100% know
right.
that for sure.
And it works. It works with the flow of events of like once Locke dies, once he, well, no, it still doesn't work. I was gonna say the whole thing when Jack tries to kill himself
Mm-hmm.
after Locke's funeral, or not the funeral, but
Yeah, I think it's before the funeral.
it's before he goes to the funeral. But yeah, after he learns about it.
Yeah. It's a tight timeline. I think he has to
Mm-hmm.
go try to kill himself, and then he meets up with Kate, and then he goes back to um, he goes back to the place to look at Locke's body, and then that's when Ben's there
Mm-hmm.
and basically recruits him to help, and he pretty much agrees.
Yikes.
And he clearly they're signaling with like shaving the beard and I think Ben like flushed the drugs or whatever. Like they're indicating that like he's doing better now that he's like on a mission to try to go back to the island.
Yeah, I was gonna say that he's sort of aligned with his inner desire or something. Like
Yeah,
he's not fighting it anymore.
yeah, exactly.
Well, isn't that great? Yeah, wow. All right, well, that was a nice extended discussion about how these plot lines don't really make a lot of sense.
So true, so true. Yeah, I mean the thing is that Jack's arc, compared to things like Widmore or Saeed or what have you, like is, I mean, gets more screen time. So I think there is more there to put together, even if it still isn't quite all there, and there's
Mm-hmm.
still some gaps. I think you do at least get it kind of an idea of what they were going for. Um, but yeah, it's sort of like even that, uh, even sort of the main featured characters arc and motivations are not. I don't know. They're not totally coherent.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just. I mean, yeah. Once you go down from there, it just gets worse. Um, but yeah, I think it wasn't a bad episode. I feel like part of why I didn't remember it is that similar to it was similar. It reminded me of the first one, Because You Left, where it was just kind of all over the place. There were like a
Yeah.
lot of different things happening. I mean, we got those crazy flashbacks with the hatch light coming on and
Mm-hmm.
Sawyer seeing Claire giving birth with Kate, and we had the famous outrigger shootout,
Yeah.
and then we also had the Rousseau's team and Jin, showing up
Yeah.
again.
That's huge.
And that's just the island stuff.
Yeah.
Off the island, probably a bit less eventful, but certainly there was some forward motion in terms of bringing the characters together. They resolved more or less the plot line of who's the lawyer and why are they coming after Kate.
Mm-hmm.
Cards are on the table about we're supposed to go back with a lot of these characters who didn't even know that was like an issue until now. The off island plot progressed a decent amount as well, and it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't even that focused on Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Like Aaron got pushed aside at a babysitter like pretty quickly. Like
Yeah,
I don't
who's
know.
the
It's
little
weird.
prince?
I
'Cause,
don't know.
it doesn't seem to be about Aaron, really.
No, not at all. Not at all. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel, like I have no idea who the Little Prince is supposed to be.
Let's see. The episode's title refers to the novel Le Petit Prince.
Le Petit Prince.
Uh,
Oh, the French people show up. Maybe one of them's a Little Prince.
he was it was by a French writer and aviator who disappeared in flight in 1944. Though masquerading as a children's book, it has varied themes on life, perception, and human nature. The book, with its narrator surviving a plane crash in begins with its narrator surviving a plane crash in the desert. He encounters the little prince, a little boy who has left his home on asteroid B612 after finding that he could no longer share his tiny planet with his demanding Rose, the only
Oh.
other sentient occupant. He left his planet to find out more about the universe, but ultimately learns that the actions of his Rose, not her words, are what he should pay attention to. So there you have it.
Did you say B612?
Yeah.
Because I think that's the name of the Rousseau's boat. I think that's
Oh.
what I mean. It's in French, but it's like B612.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what this
that's
says.
I think
Yeah,
that's
this,
B612.
yeah, man, they list that here.
So
They say the author illustrated the book and drew the little prince as a young blonde-haired child like Aaron.
oh yeah, yeah. Still though, I mean, like who? Like Aaron is so
So
clearly a
basically,
MacGuffin in this episode.
Aaron is the little boy who left his home because he could no longer share it with the demanding Rose. I guess. I mean, that
Oh,
he's the one who left, and
I
now
see.
he's
And so the
got.
desert is LA,
Uh-huh.
and okay,
Yeah.
okay. It's kind of a stretch. Who's the guy who crashed in the plane? Who's the author? Is that supposed to be Kate? Is that supposed to be Jack? Ben?
Yes.
Saeed? Hurley?
Uh, who's the narrator?
I mean, I don't think they're really doing a Little Prince allegory, but
Yeah.
it just seems, I don't know. I mean, there's clearly like connections there, but it doesn't seem like it connects with this episode in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from the fact that Aaron was an issue in the episode, but really like part of the thing was like it's not even about Aaron.
Yeah.
It's about Kate, you know.
And maybe like that's this thing about the little the the little prince ultimately learns that the actions, not the words, are what they should pay attention to. I feel like something like that means something, but
Mhm.
I don't know. Yeah, wow. All right, man. Anything else?
Um let me think. I will give it a it was a little bit muted by the fact that they cut in the middle of it, but I do think the Jen plus Rousseau's team is a pretty solid ending
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
terms of tracking, like, because last week's like Charlotte's got a nosebleed was like pretty
Oh,
weak.
geez. And then we got to go to, what was it? We got to go to
Oxford.
Oxford.
Gotta go to Oxford. Lost. Like, yeah, yeah. Those are not impressive. But yeah, this one's good. It promises something interesting for next time.
Yeah, and it's a
So
nice addition to this time traveling storyline, and a nice
yeah,
follow up to see what happened to Jen after the freighter exploded.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's crazy, and I guess Jen doesn't stay there too long, and then he'll flash to the '70s with everybody else, right?
right, exactly.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna get reunited with the group, and then they'll flash to the '70s. If I
and then he's
remember right.
separated again.
No, he's in Dharma.
Oh, but I thought isn't he off doing? Isn't he? But isn't he like off screen a lot of the time though?
He's like I think he works for Brzezinski or something, and they have him. Or no, no, no.
Like he's mapping the.
He was like searching for something. Like
I think, yeah, I feel like he was. Yeah, I feel like he had a job at Dharma that gave him cover in order to
yeah.
search for other losties, maybe.
Yeah, he thought they were gonna like show up at some point. I don't really
Yeah,
know
so he
why.
had he was gonna like grid by grid search
Yeah.
the area. Or
He was doing a grid
something.
search.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, but I think technically he had a job. I think he's the one who actually finds the the Ajir people who show up. I think he shows up in a Dharma van when like Hurley and Jack and Kate and they all like show up in the 70s.
Oh yeah.
So I think he's got a job where he's like out and about most of the time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
He's not working like with LaFleur and Miles, whatever his fake name is.
Oh jeez, Miles.
Miles, fake name Miles.
He's cynical enough to do that.
You're so right.
Oh man, Miles is reuniting with his daddy soon.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Jeez.
It's gonna happen.
Oh man. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next time with what's the next episode?
This Place
is Death.
Yeah.
Not a great title, but it's certainly death.
Yep.
All right. Till then, thanks and namaste.
Namaste and good luck.